around me, children, I'll tell you the news. Don't worry about the names or dates, you already know it's true. The doctor hates your baby, the prime minister's a ghost, and all them folks are sailing here 'cause they're in love with boats. Superfoods can save us from all our evil sin. JFK and Elvis own a bar in Wisconsin. Vaccinations were created by the CIA to steal votes from Bernie Sanders and turn your babies gay. So click the link you think you like and get tooled for a fight against those lefty fascist communists who are leaning too far right.
Hi and welcome to Not Another Fake Newscast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Jerry. We've got a bit of a kind of special episode for you this time round.
Episode.
A episode, yeah, specific episode. I don't know, something.
We'll come back to that.
So essentially, you this is episode 13, and 13.5 is like an hour-long interview that we've done with the guy who essentially we stumbled across this story via his Twitter thread. It's a dude called Iyad El-Baghdadi. So you can basically listen to this first, listen to him first, entirely up to yourself. But
if you listen to him first, there's spoilers.
yeah.
Just
Spoiler
so you know.
alert. Yeah. Also, if you listen to him second, there's spoilers for him. So yeah, it's up to you. But
it depends how you want to be spoiled.
Oh, by Ferrero Rocher, always.
That's what I meant.
By Ferrero Rocher and an ambassador. That's my spoiling of choice. So
ambassadors are always spoiling people. Sometimes they're like poisoning people, I believe. Like it's.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that was an ambassador necessarily. No, it wasn't. Fucking Russians. Maybe it was. I don't know. That's a debate for a whole other time. Probably in the news roundup this month. But essentially, get the housekeeping out of the way. www.notanotherfakenewscast.com.
At Facebook at PGMcast and Twitter at the other thing at Twitter at PGMcast as well.
Yeah, and Patreon at PGMcast2. We would like to thank all the people who have got in touch with us this month, came on the Discord. It's been great opening it up and having more people in there. We would like more of you, so if you're there and you want to get on the Discord, hit us up with a message on Facebook, hit us up with a message on Twitter.
If you're not sure if it's the right thing to do, just remember that we told you all about Cambridge Analytica fucking ages ago.
Well, yeah, there is that. Yeah, that's kind of blown up. That's been a bit of whirlwind. I mean, it's been quite fucking satisfying for us, I have to say. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been like, yeah, we're like news fucking hipsters. But it's also good to see that it's in the mainstream, and hopefully the fucking assholes that are responsible for that shit will get taken to task. Although I fear they probably won't. As
most of you are probably aware, there's still some stuff we're expecting to see in due course. Don't be incredibly shocked if there's questions over Brexit, because we know that there was the collusion and we know there was involvement. Don't be incredibly shocked if Nigel Farage fucks off out of the UK and doesn't come back, because he's linked, certainly from a collusion point of view.
You know, why is it always just like random dudes who work in Salisbury that get killed by the Russians? Why is it never folk like Nigel Farage?
Nigel Farage doesn't smell flowers, that's fact. So it's really difficult to get nerve gas into him.
Nigel Farage is never anywhere near flowers. You can't get close enough to him to smell them, because they die as soon as they see his withering gaze.
He's got withering gaze.
Yeah, it was the sequel to Wuthering Heights. Anyway, so funnily enough, in the course of looking into this next story, Cambridge Analytica managed to fucking worm their way in there at some point too. So look out for that, guys. There's a wee incentive to keep listening.
Still to come.
So yeah, essentially, a guy called Iyad El-Baghdadi, who is a sort of.
Dude, I'm really upset. We should have started this episode with like, previously on Not Another Fake Newscast. Done little snippets.
Cambridge Analytica.
That'd have been amazing, man.
It would have required
so much effort in editing.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck that. So Iyad El-Baghdadi, he's a prominent kind of Arabic political commentator. He puts analysis up, stories that are going on, particularly in relation to like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and sort of authoritarian states in the Middle East. And
well, I was going to say, I think a bit of background on him, just furthering that he's a political commentator. He was part of the Arab Spring. He was there. Like, he is not just a political commentator the same way people may argue we are political commentators. Like,
he's stuck his neck out and said some incredibly brave sort of spread pro-democracy sentiment in a country where
pro-democracy sentiment is not liked.
Yeah, that kind of thing can get you in jail and deported, which is exactly what happened to him.
Yeah, I mean, well, it certainly got him in jail, and was he fully deported? Sorry,
yeah.
I even missed that part of it.
Yeah, so he's not allowed back in the UAE ever again. He now lives in Oslo, despite the fact that he grew up in the UAE for pretty much his entire life.
Bet he's allowed in Qatar.
Probably is, yeah.
We'll get to that.
So anyway, the kind of thread that we stumbled across, it was the day of Rex Tillerson's sacking by Donald Trump via tweet, which I think surprised Rex Tillerson as much as it surprised anybody else.
Dear Rex, you're chucked. The Don kiss.
I don't think he even got a kiss.
Bet he did. A wee tiny hand kiss.
A wee tiny hand kiss. Yeah, he probably just his fingers
slipped. Did you?
Yeah, I think that's how he ended up with Stormy Daniels. So Rex Tillerson was sacked by Twitter by Donald Trump.
Is Stormy Daniels the name of a cocktail?
No, that's
because you get dark and stormy.
You get dark and stormy.
So surely if you make a dark and stormy with
Jack Daniels,
you get a Stormy Daniels.
Oh, that's a fucking mate. That's a marketing. You might have a word with the Lantern about that one.
Oh, because we could be shifting Stormy Daniels, and we'd just be like the president.
I think if I start shifting Stormy Daniels, Michelle, I'll have something to say about it.
I can imagine so.
So anyway, Rex Tillerson was sacked, and the sort of mainstream media narrative around that was everybody the consensus was that it was due to him speaking out in support of the UK after the Russian spy.
It was the pro-UK, EU, all the parties in the UK and American Congress stance of Russia have poisoned someone on UK soil.
But he actually made a statement in which he said, we will uphold the special relationship, we will support Britain and all this. And Trump was like, I'm not so sure. Well, he basically said fuck all for like 2 days. So and Tillerson was sacked. So everybody assumed that it was that kind of...
Trump was like, I don't have any affiliation with Russia. I can't begin to stress that, guys. But I'm not going to condemn them here when the rest of the world is.
Yeah.
But it's totally unrelated.
Yeah, it was a wee bit weird, that one. So everybody seemed to agree that this was the reason for it, but Iad would put a different perspective across.
Yeah, so I mean the time frame for him getting sacked was essentially like 2 days after the stuff that happened in the UK, but it was 6 days.
The day after.
Was it? But it was 6 days before the Saudi prince visited America.
Correct.
That was the prince who had been in the UK prior to that.
Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Yeah. He was in the UK. He was greeted with great fanfare and a like ridiculous sort of level of propaganda, to the point that there was trucks driving about with his face on, saying positive slogans. There was billboards. There was even television adverts.
Face swapping. What's going on?
There was television adverts saying
Saudi's quality, drive like a woman.
Well, basically saying that Saudi is changing, it's becoming progressive, like all of this stuff, just like trying to boost relations with them.
But imagine, right? So imagine you had invited your mate round, and you knew your mate was in charge of a totally oppressive regime that murders the shit out of people and is funding terrorism all over the place. But you also knew he was going to tap you a whole fuckload of cash.
Are you talking about Jimmy?
Our mate Jimmy and his fascist regime. But yeah, so and
it's one of my favourite folk songs. Oh, my mate Jimmy and its fascist regime.
It's the Dubliners' worst years. But yeah, so the thing is, if you've got your mate coming around who does own a fascist regime and that's his bit, he's fond of cutting off hands and, spreading cholera around fucking the Yemen.
The Yemen.
How do you deal with that? Especially when you know that the same friend wants to take his big oil company and float it on your stock exchange.
Well, and also when you know that same friend is looking to buy loads of jets and shit. Yeah, you're going to butter them up, aren't you?
Now, is that jets and shit or jets and shit? Because I've got loads of stuff.
You have lots of jets and memorabilia.
I do. Oh, no. I was actually thinking just, Jetson and flotsam. But yeah, I mean, like, I've also got lots of old Jetson memorabilia, which is probably worth about the same as fucking oil these days.
So yeah, and, Mohammed bin Salman ended up buying like 48 jets at a massive...
a decent price.
Yeah, like billions and billions of pounds.
Tell you what, you buy 40, I'll give you 8 for free.
It's a good deal, actually. So
I don't know if it is.
I don't know.
That might not be a good deal at all, dude.
I don't know that it's not like fucking gone to home bargains.
What, for every 10 that you buy, you get 2 free?
Yeah, I think that's a very good deal.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't think they give any jets away for free.
It depends on how much you're charging per jet, though.
I think we've kind of fucking strayed from the narrative here.
But we've now brought everyone into a new idea, which is we're going to start selling jets to regimes, which we've found is much more profitable than free podcasting.
Yeah, much more. So that worked out for us, and obviously with Mohammed bin Salman coming to the US, Tillerson was sacked 6 days beforehand. So what would be the reasons for that? And that's something that he had started to explore in his thread. So to jump back a little, we need to start off with a gentleman named Eric Prince, who a number of you will be familiar with due to his involvement with Blackwater.
Raspberry Beret,
Purple Rain,
1999.
Sexy Motherfucker. That's my favourite one of his.
Actually, if you think about it, Eric Prince missed a trick because when he formed Blackwater, he could have made them all wear Raspberry Berets.
Also, when Donald Trump texts Eric Prince, he definitely gets a diddle kiss. See what I did there?
Nice.
There's a wee callback joke.
Call back to that joke from 4.5 minutes ago. Nice. It's the best type of callback joke.
That's about my attention span's limit, really, for callback jokes.
So essentially what we're getting to here is Eric Prince is
he runs the Pirates of Blackwater. Is that right?
He runs the Pirates of Blackwater, yeah. No, he's tat.
No, he fucking hell, well remembered. Blackwater being the private military contractor, which was at the centre of a lot of controversy back in 2010-11 in Iraq.
They really have been. They're the precursor to most of the other like mercenaries that exist. You know what I mean? They were the first people who were really going for it hard and getting the contracts and they are the quintessential private mercenary group.
Yeah, and there was a fucking infamous incident where they killed a bunch of civilians, women and children in a square. No, I mean that happened. They were found guilty of it, and it was either Iraq or Afghanistan. Sorry, I can't pull that off my head at the minute. I think it was Iraq.
Was that with the helicopter?
No. It was. Was
that when they went into the town and they were all the women and children were all like hiding in the houses and they just went into them and murdered them all?
They just shot loads of folk up. They were
hopped up on Rockstar and Monster.
They were taking a convoy through basically for, I think some sort of industry, whether engineers or whatever. They were taking them from A to B armed and took them through somewhere. I think the cars had to stop. They freaked out because essentially they were employing a lot of untrained, inexperienced personnel. They were just grabbing folk up at McDonald's and giving them fucking guns.
See, without being incredibly dark, essentially the type of people who were signing up for Blackwater at some point were the same type of people that if they had stayed in at high school, they would have ended up shooting up their high school. These were people who were unbalanced and wanted to go and fight.
They wanted to go and shoot Muslims.
They wanted to go and shoot brown folk in the desert was their bit because they were borderline. By borderline, I mean absolutely racist.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's Eric Prince's backstory. And in the midst of a lot of heat on him in the US, he moved to the UAE back around 2010, 2011, and he was living in the UAE, and he...
Living in the UAE.
That's one of my favourites. Who sang that?
That's one of your favourites, what? Living in the UAE? It was one of your favourites?
I don't know. It's one of my favourite places I've lived.
What, in comparison to what? Aberdeen? Because Aberdeen's fucking shite. Like, for anyone who's listening in Aberdeen is shite.
It was better than Aberdeen, and it was better than Saudi. Yeah, I'll go for that. So anyway, he was working closely with Mohammed bin Zayed, the Crown Prince of UAE at the time, and he was asked by him to set up a private mercenary army for a number of reasons. They were scared of revolt in the country. The Arab Spring was happening around that time, and they did not want to have locals involved in it, because obviously locals are not going to have complete loyalty to the Crown Prince in the same way that a bunch of foreigners would, because they might change their mind and decide, no, we want democracy, and turn on the Crown Prince.
Well, that's a weird callback to something that we did actually discuss in the Cambridge Analytica episode, which was their problem that they had, which is the same basic principle. When they were working on British soil, doing their bit, they were finding that their staff would only go so far, whereas when they were working in like Africa and Asia, the staff were just like, fuck it, because they had no connection.
Turns out their staff got over that though.
No, I think what they done was they cleverly then set up a subsidiary company called Cambridge Analytica in America, and then they got them to do it in the UK for them.
I thought it was Agri-IQ in Canada. Anyway,
we'll get back to that.
So Eric Prince was out there training a private army for Mohammed bin Zayed, and there's also evidence that he has done work via Blackwater, or whatever they're called now, for Mohammed bin Salman in Saudi Arabia as well. Now,
so just quickly on the Blackwater thing, he now doesn't own Blackwater. So he sold Blackwater.
So he was doing it under a different name then.
Yeah, well, so you've got his PS group, who do security and logistics and tactical stuff and that type of thing, but they are now essentially like consultants in it, rather than before that when he was doing it in Blackwater. They were not just consultants, but they actually were the security force in their own right. I believe now that he has taken a step back from actually doing that, because it turns out when you provide the guys that are shooting up villages, you get questioned. But if you consult and you say you should bring in these guys that might shoot up a village, you can't then be traced back to that, because all you done was gave advice.
Yeah, the company actually that he was working under in Abu Dhabi, at the private army, is called Reflex Responses, and it's from a New York Times article for 2011. We'll post that up. But actually, this was something that I didn't necessarily need newspaper articles to confirm, because Eric Prince actually was living in Abu Dhabi at the same time that I was.
Fucking knew it. You're a shell.
I'm a shell.
Fucking. You heard it your first people, Jerry McCann shell.
My wife actually taught his kids at school and stuff, and I one evening found myself at a Cinco de Mayo party in Abu Dhabi with a whole bunch of guys who worked at the American Embassy. Now, I knew that some of them worked at the American Embassy, but naively didn't really put two and two together as to what they actually did. And Eric Prince was there, and they were all being like, that's Eric Prince, oh, that's Eric Prince. I didn't have a fucking clue who Eric Prince was, so I was like...
The giveaway was his crushed purple velvet outfit that he was wearing.
And the fact that he kept going, sexy motherfucker.
He showed up on a mobility scooter and refused to walk anywhere the whole night.
Kept trying to shag everybody.
Painted your living room purple.
But yeah, so obviously when he left, I asked a few folk about him. They mentioned the whole Blackwater thing. I went away and done some Googling when I got home, and I was like, oh, holy shit. The guy's a fucking billionaire for a start. But that night got a bit weird later on when I was outside having some whiskey and some cigars with like the majority of the guys that were there, and they were arguing over who should have shot bin Laden, because bin Laden had been killed by the US a couple of days before.
SEAL Team 6, I believe.
Yeah. So they were arguing that it should have been the Bureau that did it. No, it should have been us, it should have been whatever. And this guy kept going on about the bureau, and eventually I was like, hold on a minute, are you telling me that you are in the FBI?
Work in a library.
And he was like, yeah, man, I'm FBI. He's FBI. He's Homeland Security. He's NSA. He's the firearms and fucking tobacco, whatever the fuck they're called, those guys.
That made up group.
No, but they were like what?
I know the one, firearms, tobacco, videos, and car keys.
Yeah, he was one of them. So yeah, it was all a bit fucking weird. But anyway, so I've been in the company Eric Prince in Abu Dhabi. I can confirm with my own fucking two eyes that the guy was there. Like,
that exists.
Yeah. So he was working over there.
This is Jerry's origin story for when he becomes the Punisher later on.
That's very unlikely to happen. So
that was also quite dark.
He's been working. He's been working for. That was all about the time of the Arab Spring as well. Like, those motherfuckers were interfering in all sorts of shit. Like the Americans, I mean. So Eric Prince has donated a whole bunch of money to the Donald Trump campaign, and his sister Betsy DeVos is actually the education secretary as well in Trump's cabinet.
But really, Eric Prince, although being a friend of Trump,
yeah,
donating to the Trump campaign isn't as bad as other donations. Potentially
not, but I think it's important to realise that his issues with the US, Eric Prince's, were being pushed quite hard by Hillary Clinton's administration, and the Obama administration that Hillary Clinton was a part of. So
she was the foreign secretary, so everything that he was doing was landing on her plate.
So he's probably done a swift calculation and went, who do I want to fucking be in charge of my country here, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump? I'm probably better jumping on Team Trump. I think he's probably a Republican as well.
I think a few people possibly dumped. No, I'll retract that, but no 100%. But jumped on Team Trump. Over that time.
I think a few Russians might have dumped on Team Trump, or at least pissed on him.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So we know that he's donated. We know that his sister is part of the Trump team. We know that Eric Prince has had talks, and we can post links to articles talking about this, to Trump with regards to setting up a new private intelligence agency in the US.
Gorbals, essentially, is just like, we should give them all like black shirts, right? And they will only have to answer to you.
Black shirts, raspberry berets.
Black shirts, raspberry berets. They'll look fabulous, right? We'll get Hugo Boss in to do the design work. We'll give them all skulls, but the skulls will have a tiny little hand at one side, so people will know that they work for you, Mr. Trump.
Or just like awful wigs.
Just like
skulls with shite wigs.
Shite wig skull. And but although I'm joking about this,
it's the SSW. It's not the SS. Skulls with shite wigs.
Skulls with shite wigs. We are joking about this, but that's fundamentally what he was suggesting to Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what he was suggesting. Like, essentially a private secret service / intelligent agency that only answer to the president.
Yeah, which reported directly to him.
And him.
Also, you may remember that Trump a wee while ago, in one of his many fucking, policies that he just pulls out of his fucking arse and starts tweeting about, was talking about pulling all of the US troops out of Afghanistan and replacing them with private military contractors. Funnily enough, Eric Prince was in line to do quite well out of that as well.
It'd have been Eric Prince or Carillion. But that's just went in the shitter, so they're only left with Prince here.
So, fast forward to...
well, see, I take it that's all we're going to talk about with Prince in the grand scheme of things right now.
Well, I mean, it's worth mentioning the fact that he has, in the past week or so, been called in front of the Mueller investigation to answer questions, and the things that he's had to answer questions about mainly pertain to a meeting that he had in January 2017, Paul.
Well, see, before we talk about just that meeting, before we jump into that, like when we were talking about the investment into Trump, kind of prior to that, I think it's important to talk about one or two of the other investors to understand why the meeting was then really relevant. Okay,
right. So we're then there's allegations that
and this will be in the interview.
The
3.5.
The UAE have been funneling money to Trump, and there's a man named George Nader who has been kind of instrumental in that. There was
George Nader.
Yeah.
Is he not a convicted paedophile?
Oh, convicted paedophile George Nader. Sorry, I didn't call him by his full name.
That is his full name. And see, any time that you hear him in the news, remember that when they don't include that bit,
just put that bit in your head.
Because he is, I mean, this isn't even like conjecture. He is a convicted paedophile. He paid a Ukrainian boy, Croatian boy, Czechoslovakian boy.
I'll give you the full details of his charges.
Not the full details, please.
Okay.
If you can skip
He
them.
pleaded guilty in 1991 to a federal child pornography charge in the US after videotapes were found in his luggage when he arrived at Washington Dulles International Airport from a trip to Germany. In 2003, he received a 1-year prison sentence in the Czech Republic after he was convicted there of 10 cases of sexually abusing minors. So, not a great guy. Bit of a cunt, you might say, bit of a cunt.
By sexually abusing minors, do you mean?
Not like Chilean minors.
Alright, so not like boys in the coal mine. Just good, like, I mean, to be honest, that would also be bad. I'm kind of making a joke of that, but if it turns out it was just like down like raping minors or whatever, that would also be terrible. But you mean children?
Children.
He specifically like paid for sex with
Waynes.
like Czechoslovakians. Was Czechoslovakians?
Yeah, it was in the Czech Republic, yeah.
Well,
there might have been Slovaks.
Young Czechoslovakian boys, I believe.
Czech boys. Yeah, so fucking horrible, disgusting, shitty things to do.
So when people talk about him, and when people talk about him still, because he still is an active part of politics, like in the US and the greater world, he's a convicted paedophile. Never forget that.
Well, yeah, and he has also been hauled up in front of the Mueller investigation. He was basically on his way in to have a meeting to celebrate the anniversary of Trump's inauguration. He was supposed to be attending a gala dinner at Mar-a-Lago, and him and this guy called Elliot Broidy, who will talk a bit more about the details of this, the whole allegations against George Nader. But the two of them were considering a trip to Saudi Arabia to try to sell the kingdom's the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, on a $650 million contract with Mr. Broidy's security company. But it was on touching down at Dulles Airport, which seems to be a bad place for him. He wants to stop fucking going there. He was greeted by FBI agents working for Mueller.
The first time he showed up with a bag full of child porn. The second time he showed up with like loads of paper saying, let's sell this dodgy shit to Arabs. Like in both cases, he fundamentally should have got someone else to pack his suitcase.
Yeah, but he's a bit of dodgy. I mean, I've read a few.
I've actually got another story about his involvement that we'll get to just after we touch on essentially what we're talking about there, which is with the money. There is allegations that there was money coming from a foreign body, as in from a country, to fund the Trump campaign, which is illegal because you're not a foreign country isn't allowed to be involved in the financing of someone's bid
campaign.
for presidency.
And he's basically, he seems to have targeted this guy, Mr. Broidy, this Elliot Broidy guy, who is a Republican fundraiser. And Mr. Broidy, there's been emails seized which show that he's reporting back to George Nader, which he is getting George Nader access to the president. He is pushing George Nader's agenda. George Nader has asked on several occasions for the president to meet in private with Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and it would appear that Trump was happy to do it because it was only kiboshed by his general, I think is his chief of staff or what have you. I'll need to find the name in, but it's all in the article. But essentially, he promised or sort of tempted Mr. Broidy with $1 billion worth of contracts with the UAE for Mr. Broidy's private security company, which is called Circinus, and he managed to deliver deals worth more than $200 million with the UAE. So he has channeled money to Mr. Broidy in return for access to Trump. Whether or not there is proof of actual funding going from the UAE to the Trump campaign is a bit of a bone of contention for me. I've seen it suggested in places, and certainly in the conversation we had with Iyad, he suggested that's the case. But I would say that that's a bit light on evidence. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I am saying that there doesn't appear to be a lot of evidence that it definitely did happen. Although certainly the circumstantial evidence and the fact that the Mueller investigation is looking hard at Eric Prince and George Nader, and apparently to the Elliot Broidy guy as well, that would suggest that something fucking has been going on.
The weird thing is, Eric Prince, Nader, all of said princes from the UAE and Saudi that we've been speaking about, and the Kremlin head of controlled wealth all had a meeting in the Seychelles.
This was in January 2017.
Yeah. And so again, all the people who are essentially involved in the Mueller investigation in some form or another, we have a Russian, 2 Arab princes, we have Eric Prince, we have a convicted paedophile, and
George Nader. Convicted paedophile George Nader.
I think we should maybe just call him a convicted paedophile for the rest of it.
The
convicted, yeah. Like, they all met in the Seychelles, and again,
this is prior to Trump's inauguration, right?
Yeah, prior to the inauguration, but after he had won.
Yes. Yeah.
So now this is another bone of contention, if you will. This is another scenario that we can't fully 100% guarantee what the meeting was about.
But it's the major thing which Robert Mueller has been speaking to Eric Prince about.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, this is what he believes happened, and this is what there is evidence to suggest.
There's certainly evidence to suggest that Eric Prince was in and around the White House a lot in the transition period. He was in Trump Tower a lot in the transition period. He is also, we know that he has close ties to the UAE.
He has direct business associations with people who we can, I mean, later on we will show, but he has definite business associations with people who are part of Trump's team and stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? It's essentially like, he has only ever been one, even if he didn't know Trump himself, he has only ever been for the entire last 10 years 1 degree of separation away from Trump because of affiliates.
But he 100% knows Trump.
He 100% knows Trump. But what I'm saying is, even if he was to say right now, you can't prove that I am a friend of Donald Trump, you can 100% prove that some of Donald Trump's advisors are business partners of Eric.
Yeah.
So we know that there is 1 degree of separation.
Yeah.
And the reason that Mueller is investigating into this is it has been suggested and insinuated that this meeting was to set up a backdoor to the Kremlin.
Yeah.
Essentially a line of communication between Donald Trump and the Kremlin.
Which was not, which was a circuitous route which would allow information to flow without it being obvious.
So there's a few. So I have a few problems with this story.
Yes.
First and foremost, the idea that Russia. So what I'm going to get to, I'll tell a story in a minute that will back up this belief of mine. But essentially, the fact that Russia is affiliating itself with people who are operating with a pro-Israeli stance, possibly.
Well, I mean, I don't actually have a problem with that. I'll tell you for why. We know that, for example, the Saudi Arabian Military Industries Company, who we will speak about later, have in the last year signed contracts to be provided weapons from Russia, as well as, so I
think there's something very different about, without besmirching the good name of the Russian people, I believe that they would sell guns to any cunt that wants to purchase them.
No, but what I mean is,
why would you arm your enemies?
Yeah, and I think the Saudis they use their money to buy influence everywhere.
But I would argue that when you're saying why would you arm your enemies, but the same grounds, I suppose, in fact it doesn't argue, it almost justifies it. The UK is still selling weaponised nuclear material to Russia right now, even though Russia are tense with us over the whole poisoning scenario.
Tense with us.
Well, they're tense with us.
They are tense with us, yeah.
Like, but well, I mean, there's no other way to describe it, because we're neither at war nor are we not at war. Do you know what I mean? We're just like in this scenario where it's just like, oh well, you better not fucking say anything else.
Just loads of sexual tension.
It's just like, oh well, you're going to fuck, and see, so we're clear. See if Putin and me fuck, I will leave the world. Like, I will just leave the world.
I just had a little bit of sick in my mouth.
Both of them will also have the same thing.
What, they'll both be being sick in their mouth?
Aye.
In each other's mouth.
And each other. And
I heard that's.
And then they'll piss on Trump.
She said she likes to run about wheat fields, but we know that she's into a bit of vomit sex.
Fact. You heard you first.
Hashtag fake as fuck news.
Anyway,
allegedly, that's a big allegedly right there.
That was not even allegedly. I don't think there's ever been that allegation up until now.
Okay, libel then, libel. Slander, drink.
But we will, but yeah, so bring that back. So that's one of my reasons, right? One of my reasons is that it just seems weird that see if you were going to have the meeting where you had the Russians and Eric Prince discussing a back door. Why would you bring the Saudis?
It wasn't. No, I don't. I think it was UAE. It was UAE intelligence officers.
Okay, but why would you?
Because it was them that set it up. Because
Eric Prince can't be seen to be setting it up.
Well, also, Eric Prince might not have had the contacts to be able to set it up. So it was one of Putin's like closest associates, right?
Yes, it was. I'm going to say Kirill, but it's Kirill. I'm not really up in my Russian.
Are they not the bad guys? Are they not like the bad aliens?
The Kirill and the Orville. They are. See the Orville TV series, the new one.
Oh right, okay.
They're the baddies in it. But no, it's Kirill. Oh no, you're talking about the from Marvel.
Yeah.
Dmitriev. That's his surname, because he was looking for a generic sounding Russian surname, and that was the best he's got.
You're quite happy about that though, because you can pronounce that.
Yeah, I'm not really happy about that, but immediately as soon as I read it, I thought, imagine what it was like when Eric Prince walked into the room and Kirill was up the back of the room in a pair of Adidas tracksuit bottoms, squatting with a fag in his hand and like a flat cap.
Nothing like a stereotype.
No, but it's the Slav squat. Have you not seen
You sure
that
wasn't fucking Jeremy Corbyn?
Oh, it probably could have been. I think it was a Labour Party conference for the sound of things.
But yeah, I think the insinuation is that
they had set it up.
Yes, because they had the contacts with the Russians, because they can't have contacts with the Russians in that way without it being seen as being dodgy, because they can fucking do business however they want. Eric Prince, on the other hand, canny. And
Eric Prince could, I suppose, obviously be at any point going to a meeting with the UAE boys, because he has direct business ties.
Essentially, the fact that this has been investigated is a very fucking simple illustration of why the UAE were required to set that up, because the fact that Eric Prince has even been in a room with that guy is a great big fucking red flag. So he obviously would have needed the UAE to set up that line of communication.
Yeah. So that then sets up that scenario. Now, like I said, I want to bring you back.
But I think you have maybe other problems with that, though. I actually expected the big issue that you were going to bring up to be that if Trump's colluding with the Russians, why does he need to set up a line of communication with the Russians?
Yeah. So I was actually going to get to that in a little bit, because there was a couple of other things where one of my kind of sticking points with the whole scenario is also, what does Trump get out of this after Trump has already got things out of it as well, and I was kind of going to bring all of that in one go. But yes, essentially, by the time that Trump is talking to the Russians, because one of the general lines of explanation about Trump and the affiliation with the Russians hacking fucking people's emails and making them vote for Trump or whatever, is that it was the Russians doing that for Trump.
Yeah.
Now, if the Russians were doing that for Trump, Trump was already in collusion with the Russians. So if Trump was already in collusion with the Russians, why would they have to set up a line of collusion with the Russians? Now, my logic from looking at it would then be that the hacking stuff had absolutely fuck all to do with the Russians and have everything to do with Cambridge Analytica, SEL Group, Aggregate IQ, Palantir, and all the other companies we know exist in the US that fucking do this anyway.
Well, I would certainly, I'd be looking at SCL and Cambridge Analytica in that regard. Certainly when we look at some things that were blamed on Russians later in this episode. But also, I would suggest that we know that the Russians approached Donald Trump Jr., and we know that Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump and Donald Trump Jr. met with the Russians in Trump Tower in order to receive the stolen emails from Hillary Clinton's server, right? So we know that happened. Again, the fact that they were even in a room with them is investigatable. I don't know if that's a fucking word, but we'll go with it.
It is, but at the same time...
So now that he's actually in power, that is obviously something which Trump or a member of his actual White House staff cannot be seen to do. So the argument would be that they have had to go through this circuitous route in the Seychelles with the UAE, with the guy who works, like, it wouldn't be in any way unusual for Eric Prince to be hanging about with Mohammed bin Zayed. So
essentially, it wouldn't be any of those individuals together, as long as there is some component of the Arab contingent there.
Yeah.
It's totally a legitimate group of people that could have been kicking about in some rich guy's yacht because they are all friends with each other and they all affiliate with each other and they all associate with each other.
Yeah. So it's an easy potential back channel for Trump in that respect.
It is. Now, it's kind of weird, just kind of to go off subject for a minute, it's kind of weird that...
Especially considering, like, when you look at the idea that Eric Prince and Trump were talking about setting up a secret service that Prince ran that reported directly to Trump, in that context, that looks even more fucking shady, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, but what I would just say is, what I find very weird is that we can all agree that the UK Conservatives and the American Republicans are
politically similar,
right? So it's kind of weird when you think about it that it's okay on, generally speaking, for anyone on that spectrum to see Trump's staff meeting up with the Russians and getting information from them or whatever, but dealing with that way. Whereas when Jeremy Corbyn met a random Ukrainian, he's then a commie who was selling stuff to the UK, when fundamentally, if you actually think about it, there's not any real difference between those two things. Like,
well, I mean,
one is worse than the other, as in the Trump meeting is worse. But what I mean is if you already view the Trump meeting thing as okay, to look at the Corbyn thing as in a negative way, I just find that strange if you actually compare the two of them. Like,
also just because it ties in to what you're saying somewhat in terms of the sort of leap of logic and the
it's that I'm pointing at. There is a leap of logic,
and also the contradiction in the general position of the right wing here, right? Because both the Conservatives and the Republicans would be the party in their respective countries which has the most anti-Islamic feelings. The people that vote for them are much more likely to be anti-Islamic than left-wing parties, and we can see that in some of the insults that, like, you receive from right-wing trolls online. Alt-right, you're a fucking left-wing Islamist, right? Because we are seen as Islamic terrorism apologists and that sort of stuff. But yeah. so you have that directly contradicts with the fact that a left-wing government in the UK and a left-wing government in the US is much less likely to have a positive relationship with these authoritarian Islamic leaders.
I absolutely 100% agree from the point of America. Now, unfortunately, if you look at the last left-wing government that the UK had in the form of the New Labour.
I think I said left-wing government.
yeah. No, but remember, Blairite was left-wing internally. Externally, it was a psycho right-wing. But yeah, I mean,
Blair was hand in hand with George W. Bush, right? So I don't think you can in any way lump him in. I'm talking traditional left-wing.
Yeah. I mean, traditionally, so for and so we're clear, this isn't a biased thing that we're talking about. What we're saying is, and this is a fact, and this comes up in the interview and stuff as well, where if you look at the Middle East, if you look at how well... I'm not going to beat around the bush and mince my words here. Saudi fund terrorists, and they are.
And we looked at that very closely in our HSBC episode.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look back at the episodes, we looked at the Middle East and we looked at the HSBC episode.
So episode 5 and episode 7.
And the drugs episode as well, actually. 5, 6 and 7 touches on all three of them. And they are an oppressive regime. Now, they have done well. If you actually look at financially how they have done, if you look at the way their business has grown, both the UAE and Saudi have done very well under Bush. They have done very well under Trump. They've done very well under Bush Senior. They done quite well under Reagan.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of time. They didn't have a lot of time for Obama or Clinton.
Yeah, they didn't do particularly well under Obama or Clinton. Granted.
And they knew that they wouldn't have done that well under Hillary Clinton, which, you know, is one of the reasons why Iyad was pointing towards the fact that this is why they were pushing for Trump. This is why they wanted Trump in there.
Like, as much as people make out that, like, what I find the kind of fallacy that you feed yourself is very strange. So what happens is just like, Hillary Clinton is a pro-warmonger, and it's like, well, yeah, I know, but Bush has affiliations to Halliburton.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can understand the point of view on Hillary though, and even like Obama, you know, for all he was a sort of beacon of hope when he came in, he fucking
drove straight the shit out of the whole of the Middle East. I get that. I mean, but the thing is, I don't necessarily think
that's a technical term.
I don't think he necessarily done any better or worse than the presidents at either side. You know
I'd say that he's certainly done better than the presidents
not internally.
Preceded him. No,
I mean,
I'm talking foreign policy too, because he was kind of, his hands were tied somewhat.
He universally bombed every cunt rather than taking someone's side.
No, but I mean, you know, he didn't send troops in. He tried to use strategic drone strikes, I suppose.
What a guy.
I can understand.
He murdered cunts with robots at a distance.
It can't be an easy job. It can't be an easy decision.
Turns out it is. Just doing what Trump and May do. You show up, you just give fucking tons of money and weapons to the Saudis and let them murder every cunt.
I don't think we gave money and weapons to them. I think there was a transaction there. I think they gave us money.
See if it turns out we've been giving money to the Saudis, I wouldn't be shocked.
Because, I mean, I've never read The Art of the Deal, right? But I'm pretty sure that's not the advice that Donald Trump gives.
I can 100% guarantee you that the two least likely people you would ever choose to be in a business deal alongside you are Theresa May and Donald Trump. They're going to make poor decisions. Donald Trump has been bankrupt. Donald Trump has been bankrupt more than me and you. Right?
Yeah.
Which means he's worse at business than me and you.
Okay. So
that was a bit off subject, but anyway.
We've went flying off track.
No. So if we take it back to the Seychelles, prior to the Seychelles,
back to the motherfucking Seychelles. I don't know what that was.
It's real hip hop.
And it don't stop till you get the popo off the block.
So what we would do? Yeah, boy. Right. So what we do? Like, see, can I take you back? Can I take you back to when Trump has... Close your eyes.
Paul's waving his arms around in like a flashback type scenario here.
Right, so
it's very arousing.
When Trump had announced, or just before Trump had announced that he was going to run for a candidate, pretty much everyone we have just spoke about. So George Nader, the convicted paedophile, organised a yacht journey, which I'm now, the more I think about it, probably I'm guessing there was
like, why are they like they're all dodgy cunts hanging about with him even, by the way. Oh, convicted paedophile, you want to set up a yacht journey?
Do you want to come on my yacht? I'm a convicted paedophile. Literally. It's a biggin. No, it's I get a bit horrendous. But yeah, so essentially George Nader in 2015, I'll actually probably be able to give you said date, but it was about 2 months before Trump had announced that he was going to run
as a candidate.
He set up a yacht meeting with a pile of Arab leaders in secret in the Red Sea. It was late 2015, so the fourth part of the year, something in that area.
Q3, Q4.
Aye, thereabouts. They probably, it was from a tax point of view, we could probably find it out because they probably made claims back on it. I don't know what the going rate is for, claiming back on child prostitutes or whatever, but they probably had some break. Allegedly liable, those words as well. I'm not suggesting that any of these people are paedophiles other than Nader.
They just hang about with a convicted paedophile.
Back there. So anyway, Nader had brought the leaders of Egypt, when I say the leaders, so it was the
guy who's the leader now, Sisi.
It was, So the guys,
and
Saudi and the US, essentially in all cases, it was like the crown princes that hadn't been quite the crown princes yet. Do you know what I mean? They were
they were crown princes, but they weren't de facto in charge. Yeah. Whereas, like now, Mohammed bin Salman is de facto in charge, even though his dad's still alive. Bin Zayed is de facto in charge, even though his dad's still alive.
Yep. So you had Abu Dhabi, Saudi, Bahrain, Egypt, and Jordan all present.
Noticeably not Qatar.
And Jordan all present. And nobody from the Yemen either. So they were all present, and also Syria, I believe, was represented but wasn't there.
Right.
As in I don't know, they were busy that weekend. They had like an double booked or something.
Just sent a convicted paedophile in.
They were just like. They were like, a paedophile phone up, like, do you want to come to a secret party at my yacht? And they were like, no. No.
Who's organising the party? Oh, George. Oh, no, I'm busy that weekend.
Nah, turns out the rest of them, the morals were a lot less loose. So they all showed up. And the long and short is they had decided that they were going to kind of circumnavigate any pre-existing Middle Eastern pacts to become a pro-US, pro-Israel group of 7 nations that existed.
That's who they decided to be pro towards. Who did they decide to be anti towards?
They're not a big fan of Iran.
Right.
Mostly. They're not a big fan of Qatar.
Yeah, but they also sort of made an agreement to basically try and remove the influence of Qatar in the region, right? Yeah,
so the problem, and one of the things that we'll talk about, we can talk about it now. Essentially, the long and short of all of this is essentially that there was a meeting set up and they had decided they were going to circumnavigate and kind of grasp for power in the Middle East. It was set up by Nader, the convicted paedophile, and he was going to then lobby it in the US, and he was going to, he already kind of knew that Trump or Ted Cruz was going to be available to discuss this new outcome, and obviously Trump then announced straight after it that he was going to be running for president, and he then latched onto Trump to essentially convince him that this would be the right group of people to be supporting in the Middle East. They were going to be a pro-US faction. They were going to be a pro-Israeli faction in the area. I mean, again, some of this I find confusing because if you were to ask me, are Saudi pro-Israeli? I would say probably not. I'm not saying they're anti-Israeli, but they do have very different religions.
I think it's worth looking at one of the things that he had said in an interview when I spoke to him yesterday, which spoke true to me. He was saying that dictators ultimately, the most important thing to them is to stay in power. That's what they want, and he theorises that the war on terror has prolonged their stay in power by 15 to 25 years.
Yeah, it's choose your battles. Essentially, Iran, Iraq, for a start, but certainly Iran and Iraq had the military and organisational ability to be able to overthrow the powers that were Saudi and the UAE. In fact, further than that, in the event the war on terror what we call the war on terror didn't occur and we didn't overthrow Saddam in Iraq, Saddam would have absolutely, definitely have curbed everything and probably eventually taken control, if not forced control, over Saudi. I mean, it would have definitely have happened because the military function of Iraq was much greater.
If you take us out of the equation,
if there was no allies, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so in the event there was no us there, they would have. Saudi knew that essentially their days were numbered. They are resource rich, but Iraq would have absolutely. But
they're so resource rich that there's no incentive for.
There is no war. There's no need to. I mean, essentially, you can just stand out in the fucking desert and piss in a direction. You'll hit oil.
But there's also they have an issue with. I mean, it's probably through policy choice. You know, it suits them for their people to be uneducated. Educate them in Islam, but don't necessarily educate them in freedom of thought and things which
philosophy
things which are going to make them go, hold on a minute, why are you in charge?
Wait a minute. The other thing, just to also bring it, is that I would like to make a massive point right now that see Iran, see no matter what they tell you in the news, see no matter how they paint Iran is a big, working, quite well civilised, functioning country with a massive working military and lots of other. Essentially, Iran, no matter how they paint it to you, is like a real fucking country. As in, I could take you physically and not tell you where I was putting you and put you in the middle of the major city in Iran, and you wouldn't know that you were in Iran. I know it's painted to the rest of the world as some kind of ass backwards desert country that's just want to kill everybody or whatever, but that's not what they are. They are a real functioning proper country, and again with a real functioning proper military, and they are a presence that isn't oppressive but can't be oppressed by Saudi or the UAE or even Iraq on their own back, because they can hold their own in a fight. I mean, see, in all honesty, see the forces that we've been using in Iraq and Afghanistan, they wouldn't be able to defeat a war in Iran with the Iranians. Like, we would have to send forces, like as in an active working military, not a protection force and freedom fighting force.
Yeah, and also we would risk Russia stepping in because they're big allies.
Yeah, and China.
Yeah. So
that was kind of, I went off subject there, but the reason that I went off the subject was just so we can kind of close that. Essentially, that was the reason that they all met up and they decided they were going to do that. That is the precursor to meetings with the same groups of people again in the Seychelles and the
and it's the precursor to them. It's the sort of, looks like the origin point of them deciding Trump's our man on this. We're all decided Trump's our man. So moving forward, right, into more evidence of dodgy goings on, things which don't conform to protocol, and potential collusion between the Trump campaign and the UAE / Saudi Arabia. We come on to the Crown Prince visiting America again prior to Trump being inaugurated, after he was voted in as president. Mohammed bin Zayed, Crown Prince of the UAE, visits the US to meet with Trump in Trump Tower, and does not inform the acting head of state, Barack Obama, that he's doing this, which is not illegal but completely against protocol.
It is against protocol, but if you wanted, it's against protocol, but if you wanted to put across your point that you didn't respect or essentially recognise the leadership and the rule of the president who was stepping down, but you did have much more respect for the president that was coming up, that's what you would do.
True, but you would argue that it was Trump's team's responsibility to inform the White House that this was happening, because it's a head of state coming to visit you, and the president doesn't know about it. Now, you remember a long time ago, Paul, me and you spoke about, I think it might have been the pilot episode, me and you spoke about Susan Rice unmasking individuals.
And it was like, because it was like, it was the janitor. I would have got away with you too if it wasn't for you pesky Rice.
And she was accused of using her She was national security advisor, and she was accused of using her position in a way that was inappropriate in order to unmask individuals.
I believe it was all kind of interlinked with the tapping the Trump Tower chat and all the other stuff that went along with that.
Exactly, and this is where this happened,
Yeah.
right? And this is the instance in which she used her unmasking powers to find out that Zayed met with Jared Kushner, Steve Bannon, and Michael Flynn.
I bet that room smelled.
So I think I mistakenly.
Steve Bannon looks like a smelly man.
Yeah, he does. I think I mistakenly said that Trump was there. He wasn't. It was Jared Kushner, Steve Bannon, and Michael Flynn.
Like I bet it smells like rolling backy, like rolling tobacco, and like maybe like stale beer.
Oh, like last night's whiskey and cigarettes.
Kebab. Like maybe pee. He just like looks like he needs a wash.
Poster boy for fucking ill health. Like he's got liver spots and shit. Yeah, not a good look.
Oh, and he's also an asshole racist.
He's been fucking dodging about Europe the past couple of weeks, fucking turning up in Italy at right wing fucking meetings.
Which in Italy is just a meeting.
Yeah, and then in France, like standing on a platform with Marine Le Pen and shit like that. So yeah.
Yeah, and he actually refers to the Belgians and stuff like that when he's talking to them as his brothers and stuff like that. Our brothers in the north, our brothers in Poland. He says things like that, and he's. But I mean, like I'm now making it sound like.
Just mean he's a Mason.
Maybe, I now make it sound like I'm properly heavy, like watching these videos and enjoying them. But me and Steve have been going on about it for a while, but actually I'm just trying to feed them into your fucking psyche. No, but in all seriousness, that's what he's doing.
But yeah, so Bin Zayed has come over there and he's meeting with Trump's team on the fly, without informing anybody. Again. Looks suspicious, looks like potential collusion, looks like a foreign power exerting influence on the US presidency, right?
Now, I would argue, and I actually have argued with you, that because one of the things is obviously we know Trump does business there, right? And I know we discussed this, right? And I know we've discussed, and I know that, the president's not allowed to discuss business.
He's not allowed to discuss his business, and more importantly, he's supposed to put everything in a blind trust.
But he's put in a blind trust. I mean, the blind trust is obviously all his family that work next to him every day, and he wakes up in bed next day. And I'm not suggesting he wakes up in bed with all the family. I wouldn't be shocked if it was a case.
Just Ivanka.
Yeah. She's pretty. Ask her that.
But Jared, and Ivanka are in charge of his blind trust, and they are obviously and clearly using their father's position to benefit them.
They're also staff at the White House.
Yeah, but
unpaid staff. They're interns.
Yeah,
they're staff nonetheless.
Yeah, and they're getting into it. And in fact, fucking, I shared an article earlier that Ivanka is now acting Secretary of State at the moment. She's away to attend a meeting with a foreign government as Secretary of State.
Americans, I'm going to level these. See that man? See if you don't fucking get rid of him. He's going to go full dictator on you.
Yeah,
if he gets a chance.
She's sitting in for now fired Secretary of State Rex Tillerson at a meeting with the South Korean Foreign Minister.
I thought your boy had taken the role of Tillerson.
Matt Pompeo. Yeah, but he's no doing it. I don't know why.
Maybe he had to do his handover.
Maybe
like he's got a month to work. Like he has to work the end. He can't just turn on his notice.
But anyway. So if we then fast forward to one of the first things which happened in the Middle East after Trump kind of getting voted into power, and something which we have talked at length about on a previous podcast, is the Qatar crisis.
Oh no, there's something before that I actually want to touch on, which is simply this: that when Trump did come into power, he enforced the Muslim ban.
Oh yeah, and he was backed up on that
by the Saudis or in the UAE. I mean, essentially,
I think it was Bin Zayed for the UAE.
Yeah, it was. But essentially, he went out onto press, onto certainly UAE press, but on worldwide press, and said, "This isn't an attack on Islam. This." By the way, so we're clear, there's a ban on Muslims, so it was an attack on Islam. But this wasn't an attack on Islam. This is prevention of terrorism. I can't actually remember the way word.
But noticeably, look at the countries that it didn't affect.
Yeah, all the ones that are the ones
that were on the boat.
So
on a boat, motherfucker! Don't you ever forget.
So that was don't ever forget. They were on a boat with a convicted paedophile, George Nader. But yes, so again, in case you're not sure, the countries that could still go to the US were Saudi, Abu Dhabi, Jordan, Bahrain, and Egypt.
Yeah.
And Syria, I would imagine, but I can't be sure.
Wow, no, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure Syria were well banned as fuck.
To be honest, there was probably very few international flights going out to Syria by that point. I can't imagine it was big on the chartered flights.
So getting that out of the way.
So now there's just that I just wanted to kind of show again how the bolstering of these seven nation army, if you will.
Yeah, we can see that they're all on the same page.
We can.
Right. So the Qatar crisis happened.
Qatar.
And Trump basically immediately was on Twitter saying that Qatar were being dicks. I'm going to paraphrase. And Rex Tillerson was being diplomatic and...
Stop calling them dicks, you Trump, you asshole.
Yeah, and saying that, that we needed to de-escalate this crisis and that we need to sort it out, and was, making sort of diplomatic moves and saying, statesman-like things which you would expect from a US Secretary of State in that situation. His policy and Trump's policy didn't seem to line up there, and there's various reports that the diplomatic section of US government were very unhappy with Trump's behaviour in that respect. So
I keep on saying Syria, I mean Libya.
Oh, right, okay.
It was Libya was the other country on the list.
Right.
I was just rereading through that because it was just like, Syria isn't sitting right with me at all. There's a lot of, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like fucking Libya's all fucking roses, you know what I mean? but it just seemed all a bit shitty. Sorry.
Seemed a bit strange, yeah. So in that respect, then we talk a lot in the interview about the reasons for the Qatar crisis, and I think if you want to sort of explore that, that's probably the best place to go and look. But in summation, Iyad is basically proposes that the entire reason for the Qatar crisis and the entire reason for the rest of those countries having a real hard-on for Qatar is Al Jazeera. And that kind of is borne out by the fact that when you look at their list of demands, which we ran through in episode 5, shutting down Al Jazeera was number 1 on the list, right?
Essentially, Al Jazeera are the media aspect of the Arab Spring. Essentially, they have the ability of free thought and talk, and they can say the Saudis are acting like cunts, or in Jordan it's got a bit stabby or whatever, and there's nobody to rein them in. They can do what they want. They also actually operate, for the most part, I'm not saying that they are outright, but they are more non-partisan than anything else in the region. Essentially, they're more open to being a news outlet in the region rather than a mouthpiece of a particular government or regime.
Yeah, and crucially, they are the only Arabic-speaking channel which is broadcasting into these countries which the state cannot control. And
they also have desks and affiliations in the West and across Europe more so than anyone else. Essentially, they are a recognised worldwide news outlet. They are the closest thing that the UAE has to, like, the BBC, for example, or CNN.
So when we look at how the Qatar crisis started, as we spoke about in episode 5, the fake news type stuff was coming up on the banner saying that the head of Qatar had said a whole bunch of stuff about how Iran was their friend and fuck the Saudis and fuck UAE and all that sort of stuff, which was proven to have been hacked. Now, the CIA actually wrote a report saying that it was Russian hacking.
They literally copy and pasted that report from like, oh, well, where's that report about the last election? Just fucking copy that bit.
But if you have a bit of a dig, you can find evidence that Cambridge Analytica or SCL were working for the UAE in relation to Qatar.
Jerry loves the dig.
I love a wee bit of a dig.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the beautiful part where we can say, not definitively, but we can show this is where it's going to get good. Right, so this is where this episode goes a bit Minority Report, or like that meme with all the numbers around your man from Hangover's face. Do you know the one where it's like,
yeah,
like, because we're going to see a lot of things
Zach
now.
Galifianakis.
Yes, we're going to see a lot of things now regarding people and places that tie things in together, and we'll start with Eric Prince, I suppose.
Well, I'm going to start with this article that was in the New Arab on the 9th of November 2017, which is titled "UAE hires ban an affiliated company to spread anti-Qatar ads." So, a company with close ties to President Donald Trump's former chief strategist was hired by the UAE to launch an anti-Qatar social media campaign, according to recently published reports. SCL Social Limited disclosed a contract for a wide range of services specific to a global media campaign, right? So we can infer from that the UAE were definitely working with SCL and everything that entails. That entails the Mercers, that entails Cambridge Analytica, NICS, it entails their potentially their entire suite of services. Now, if we look at episode 4 and the specific article that we looked at from Slate magazine, whereby as part of an arms demo, SCL are demonstrating how they would be able to disseminate news directly from the 24-hour news channels in order to convince a population
there was a gas attack to stay in their house,
to stay indoors.
Specifically that.
Yeah. And when questioned, don't you think you're pushing propaganda? They're like, oh, well, we wouldn't call it that. We'd call it helping people.
We'd call it making money and taking advantage of people who are stupid.
You can certainly see parallels between that and what happened in Qatar, right? You can see that that's certainly something which is within their remit, which is within which fits into their modus operandi, and which is something they could definitely do.
So then you think to yourself though, what? Maybe the fact that SCL Group do this worldwide. So maybe every upcoming rich country just get SCL Group in to get their Facebook. So see if you start then digging deeper, if you start asking questions about SCL Group, and we start looking at the things that we've spoke about today in this episode. Let's say you look at someone like Eric Prince.
Yeah.
So we know, and we can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Eric Prince has worked as certainly a consultant and advisor and a supplier of military and tactics to the Saudis.
And to the UAE. Yeah.
But we can prove that.
Yes.
Now,
tell me at a party, didn't he really?
Libel. Libel in that kind of shooty way. Right, so if I look
Shots.
no, even the good ones. So if I look at FS Group is Frontier
Services.
Yeah. And that is Eric Prince's current company. That is his consultation company.
Who are registered in Hong Kong.
They are registered in Hong Kong. The right hand man, the deputy chairman to Eric Prince there is a scary looking fellow called Mr. Ko Chun Shun. He has a very triady look about him when he's in all these pictures. He looks like he maybe is hiding the fact that he's murdered a man from you. Like he's always in poses, like he's touching his chin or like folding his arms and laughing or like looking to one side as if like he stole something important. Like, it's kind of hard to explain. You know the way sometimes you get a feeling about someone.
It just looks like a Bond baddie.
He does look like a Bond baddie, like, and it looks like he's got lots of headshots of him being a Bond baddie. Like his publicist is a terrible person. Like, you could be like, we should have you with a puppy.
Maybe that's the image he's trying to sell, though.
The scary bastard, man. Well, see, so with all this stuff that happened with Cambridge Analytica,
Yeah.
there's a new company being set up.
Yes. But in 2017, right? August. I think they were incorporated in August 2017.
The end.
Which, by the way, would make it prior to
Before this.
Yeah, prior to this work and prior to the Carter crisis.
That's Emmer
Data. Now think of that.
It's like
Emirates.
Emirati Data.
Yeah, Emirates Data, kinda. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely there. Now, see if I wanted to. So that company has Alexander Nix,
From Cambridge Analytica.
the guy in charge.
Yeah, it has Rebecca Mercer.
It has Rebecca Mercer. It has Jennifer Mercer.
Yeah.
It has Wheatley, who is the current director of Cambridge Analytica, SEL Group. But
Wheatland,
yeah, sorry. But it also has a man called Mr. Ko Chun Shun, who is the right-hand man to Eric Prince.
Wow.
So then what we're saying is the company, SCL Group, Cambridge Analytica, that crowd, that whole operation, are now directly, 100% directly affiliated and in business with the directors of
one of Eric Prince's companies.
Eric Prince's main company, like his baby, if you will, like his thing now. So that then absolutely links through 2 degrees of separation, granted, but that links Alexander Nix
to Eric Prince,
or more importantly, to the Saudi and UAE princes.
And also, you know, let's look at the Channel 4 undercover video in which Alexander Nix was talking about all the various shady stuff that Cambridge Analytica were prepared to do, about their links to British intelligence and MI5 and MI6 ex-operatives to the services which they could perform. You know, it's not hard to imagine, and you know, granted, we have no direct evidence of this. We have direct evidence that SCL worked there. We have direct evidence that Steve Bannon was involved over there. We have direct evidence of a company which involves members of Eric Prince's company and members of Cambridge Analytica.
And we have evidence that Eric Prince was involved in tactical and strategic stuff for the princes of both the UAE and Saudi. We
also know that Cambridge Analytica and Alexander Nix have been pulled into the Mueller investigation as well. So there's a whole lot of evidence which is suggesting that these people are connected.
I would also like to point out, for those who maybe don't remember, episode 4, Rebecca Mercer, who is one of the other directors listed there,
was part of Trump's transition team.
She was part of Trump's transition team along with Steve Bannon, who then obviously went on to become an advisor.
So yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of whirlwind of stuff going on there. Right?
Now, if that then seemed mad, there is another director. So there's a director, Ahmed Al-Khatib.
Yes.
Khatib?
Yeah, Ahmed Al-Khatib.
Al-Khatib.
Yes.
And so his job, he's the director of.
He's the chairman of Saudi Arabian military industries, who
sound quite Saudi Arabian military industries.
Which, funnily enough, that's exactly what they are, Paul. They were a newly established company in October 2017.
Right. Okay.
And their board basically comprises loads of Saudi royalty. Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud, Khalid Al Fali, Ghassan Al Sulaiman, Ghassan Al Shibil, and Abdulaziz Al Suailem.
But the weird thing is, our man Ahmed here
is also
a citizen of the Seychelles.
Is a citizen of the Seychelles?
So he's a citizen of the Seychelles. Now, I can't prove at all that the meeting that occurred in the Seychelles that I can prove happened with Eric Prince and the Russians and the boys from Saudi and UAE or whatever. I can prove that meeting happened in the Seychelles that Mueller is interested in.
Yes.
And I can prove that our man Ahmed, who works alongside the Saudis in question, is a citizen of the Seychelles.
Yes.
And he is now a director
of a company alongside Alexander Nix, Eric Prince's associates, the
and
Mercers,
Rebecca Mercer, Jennifer Mercer,
and the Wheatland guy from SAL.
and a man called Peng Cheng, who is actually from Hong Kong.
Right, is he a member? Is he a Frontier Services guy? You can't find
I
evidence.
couldn't find anything yet. I mean, I'll get there eventually, but obviously this came up in relatively short turn, and I've pulled it as what I can through people.
Yeah. We need to actually thank Paul Robb for bringing Emmer data to our attention yesterday, which has led us to doing a whole bunch of fucking digging on him today.
What I will say is, Peng Cheng is not only is a citizen of Hong Kong, right, and that's where he's registered as living. Now, the other company that we've already discussed that's involved in Hong Kong,
Frontier Services,
is Frontier Services.
Yeah.
Now, that might be
in
coincidence.
fairness, there's probably quite a lot of companies in Hong Kong. I think there's like probably at least 5.
But I mean, it may be coincidence.
Yeah.
But it looks very much like they've been like, we need the man who works alongside Prince, and then we need the man who knows.
Sexy motherfucker.
We need Rebecca Mercer to make sure that the financial investment from the Mercers is getting used correctly, and we need your boys from SCL Group who do their SCL Group shit, that's their bit, and we need the guy for the Seychelles who's directly involved with the military aspect of the Saudis, and we need the boy in Hong Kong to tie this all together in one neat little HSBC based package. I've just threw HSBC in there out of badness, but I fucking bet they're involved as well. I'll find this out.
And interestingly enough, in this article, which was on Argam, I don't know what that is, maybe a Saudi website or whatever, but that
might be what someone in Liverpool calls their mate Graham. Argam.
That's quite good.
You know what I mean?
Which is announcing that Ahmed Al-Khatib has been appointed as chairman there. Later on in the article, it mentions that it has the 5 gentlemen I named earlier. I'm not going to try to say their names again. In addition to 3 international military industry experts who will join the board later. I haven't been able to find the details then, because it mentions Andreas Schwar here, who's a German military expert.
If I was a gambling man.
Well, yeah. It'd be interesting to keep an eye on that and see exactly who's involved there, or if it's just deliberately not being reported. Also, it's interesting to note that they have signed memorandums of understanding with Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, General Dynamics, and Rosoboronexport, who are the Russian military thing that contractor provider that I mentioned earlier on.
I want to give you another bit of background between so we know that there's tenuous links between different things, but I would like to point out that there is another scenario where SCL Group's main investor for the first 10 years of its existence essentially was Vincent Chengiz. Is it Chengiz? Is that how you
Chengiz.
Chengiz. Right. So he essentially he is connected to Paul Manafort, who is a Trump advisor.
Right, yeah, and Manafort is one of the people who has basically already pled guilty to charges in the Mueller investigation, and Manafort and Flynn are widely rumoured to have potentially been flipped. Flynn not so much, but Manafort has been spoke about massively in terms of having made a deal.
So I'll give you a bit of information here. So Chengiz, yes, is business partners with Manafort's business partner Dmitry Firtash, right?
That sounds kind of
Russian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's Paul Manafort's business partner, by the way, Dmitry Firtash.
Yeah.
Right. So
and
Cengiz,
Paul Manafort, are you saying that he has been a business partner previously of the Tengiz guy who was the...
So Tengiz and Dmitry Firtash are business partners.
Right, and Firtash and Manafort have been business partners.
Yes.
And Tengiz was the single largest shareholder in SCL for a number of years.
10 years.
Right.
And also, Julian Wheatland was formerly the executive of Cengiz Business Group.
And he's the guy who was on the board of directors for Emerdata.
And is also at SCL Group at the moment. And also, in December 2017, an article came out where Prince was offered an investment opportunity in Africa.
In a little red Corvette.
In a little red Corvette wearing a raspberry beret. It was purple rain. But essentially, he was offered a business investment in Africa with Cengiz.
Eric Prince.
Eric Prince was. That's the African Rail Project with the Spanish
this is also fucking incestuous.
Eurofinza and Cengiz were building a rail project in Africa, and Prince was offered
Please stop calling him Prince.
By Dorian Barak, who was an Israeli financier. So there's Israelis involved now. So Israelis offered Prince the ability to pay in to African Rail investment with a Spanish company, and also Cengiz, who was the financier for the SCL Group for 10 years, who is a business partner of your man who's been turned over by the police by Manafort. He's a business partner.
Not the
Manafort's
police.
Business partner. So
Sting's got fuck all to do with it.
Sting and Prince were involved in this heavily.
So there was a Sting.
So essentially what I'm saying is there are other links to put Prince to put Eric Prince to be linked with SCL Group.
True. What I am going to say, in order to play devil's advocate here, is when you're a billionaire, perhaps there are just lots of opportunities for you to invest money places.
I don't disagree with that. I 100%. I'm not saying that this is ironclad by any manner of means. What I can say without a doubt though is that Julian Wheatland was in charge of Cengiz business group, and Cengiz was a business partner of Dmitry Firtash.
Yeah.
And Dmitry Firtash was the business partner of Manafort. So there is a very small degrees of separation between Paul Manafort and the SCL Group, and Paul Manafort is involved in this Russian investigation, and Eric Prince has been pulled into this Russian investigation.
You will. What's interesting throughout all of this, throughout even the sort of jumping into the public eye of Cambridge Analytica and what they do, and the focus that's been on it in the past week, through brilliant work again by Carol Cadwallader, flipping Chris Wiley, get him to play whistleblower on everybody, and the undercover work that's been done by Channel 4. Lots of things have been spoken about. Some things I'm hoping are still to be spoken about, because I know that Chris Wiley has given a full pack of information to the Information Commissioner's office. So hopefully that includes details of the work that
Brexit,
Aggregate IQ have done. And
Aggregate IQ, the one that Alexander Nick says that he didn't have any connection with, apart from the article that we've got where he says that he's got connection with.
Yeah, and Darren Grimes directly links Aggregate IQ to working for
poor Grimey,
to working for the Ted Cruz campaign, etc. So there are people on the record saying things which do not look good for certainly for like Alexander Nixon, Cambridge Analytica, but nobody's talking about Palantir. Now maybe that's because they are squeaky clean, or
it's because they are fucking untouchable.
Yeah,
they are untouchable
because they weren't for an SNGCHQ.
No one's talking. So even when people are talking about Facebook here,
yeah,
no one's talking about Palantir. No one's talking
that's
about...
the thing. That's the thing that cracks me up, is that everybody's talking about Facebook. Everybody's talking about, all this data that's been extracted from them, and everybody's glossing over the fact that guy who sits on their board, the guy who was their first outside investor, is the CEO of Palantir, and they have all the contracts for data mining. Edward Snowden actually is the only person who I've seen outright make a link, and I say outright, he didn't name Palantir. He tweeted the other day basically saying Facebook are not the victim in this. Facebook are a willing accomplice. Like,
what you have,
and that motherfucker knows.
Here's another thing that I am going to preface this with the fact that this is just conjecture based on the evidence that was available to us, and it probably is libel, and I get that, right? But we have to say this, right? That we now know that Chris Wiley was given information to Carol Caldwell.
Carol Cadwell.
I don't know how the Welsh pronounce that surname. There's lots of W's and R's and stuff like that. That's Welsh. But so we know that's who was given the information now, right?
Yeah.
And we know that in the original article, it was stated that
Chris Wiley didn't speak to her.
No.
Is that what you were going to say?
No, I was going to say that Google...
Oh, Eric Schmidt and Sophie Schmidt
were involved, and Palantir, essentially a conversation that when Eric Schmidt said to Sophie Schmidt should maybe talk to SEL Group about what Palantir do, and there may or may not have been a meeting that was or was not to do with business.
And that Sophie Schmidt had been an intern for Cambridge Analytica / SEL Group.
And all of that was redacted. Now, the stance that we always took on the idea that it was redacted was there wasn't enough evidence to have that in the story. I put forward an argument to Jerry the other day that essentially said, I believe, I firmly believe, this is my personal belief, that in the grand scheme...
But you have no evidence for it.
No, well, what I'm going to say, I do have evidence for, which is...
I know, I'm trying to dig you a hole here.
No, that Google is the most powerful digital company that exists, that's a forward-facing digital company in the world, right?
Yeah.
If Google have chosen to press The Guardian or anyone with lawyers, it's not the same as another
Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah, it's not the same as any of them. It's not the same as, fuck man, like let's not pretend here. It's not even the same as the presidency of the United States of America. Like, Google have the ability to stop The Guardian from working as an entity on the internet. Do you know what I mean? They could, like, because they...
I know a man who once interviewed... I can't remember his exact title. Might have been the vice president of Google or somebody extremely high up in Google anyway, as part of a press junket type thing when he was in America. And this man told him that we have a GDP bigger than a lot of countries. We are more powerful than like a large percentage of the countries on this planet. And that was many years ago.
More than 10 years ago, man.
So
that's what I mean. So the thing is, it may be that they redacted it because there wasn't enough evidence to put them into place. But
it may be that they didn't have the money to fight it.
I mean, that's a fight that the Guardian would never win. Win.
Also, if they had to fight Cambridge Analytica, and that was maybe the more important fight to make, because I mean, essentially, it wasn't really alleging any wrongdoing as such.
No. It was just saying that, Eric Schmidt had said to Sophie Schmidt, you probably want to tell your boys that used to work with SEL that they want to talk to Palantir about data manipulation.
It didn't actually say that. What it said was that Sophie Schmidt had met with the Cambridge Analytica boys when she no longer worked with them. She had previously been an intern and said to them, "Oh, you really should speak to Palantir about data mining," and it then. The article then said Sophie Schmidt is actually the daughter of Eric Schmidt, who's the CEO of Alphabet, who own Google. Yeah.
So, but the thing, that the whole point I was getting to there is no one is talking about how Google could be implemented in this. No one is talking about how Palantir could be implemented in this. And I don't believe either of those two things are because no one wants to, or even that Chris Wiley isn't saying this is proof that they're doing it. It's that I don't believe that's a battle that can be won. I don't believe it's a battle. You
start fucking with Palantir, you're fucking with the Secret Service.
Yeah, with Prism
of the two major powers in the Western Hemisphere.
You seen how that worked out for Edward Snowden?
Lives in Russia now. Maybe it was him that killed all those spies.
Maybe. I was going to say libel, but fuck it, man. Maybe it was.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
I'm not that concerned. Like the idea that Edward Snowden is going to show up in your house is very, very slim because he can't get out of fucking Russia with it.
So we've really explored the Cambridge Analytica angle on the Carter crisis.
And the thing is, that's a small part of this in the grand scheme of things. It was just that because of what's happening in the news and what we've already covered, we find that very relevant.
Well, I think you say it's small, but honestly, man, right, within the whole context of the Mueller investigation, right, I think that this potential collusion or potential involvement with all of these characters between the Trump administration and all of these people is far, far, far more likely to be what brings them down than any potential collusion with Russia.
Oh, I mean, I don't disagree. What I mean is in the narrative of this story that we're talking about right now, the Qatar crisis was quite a small part. Component of it.
I disagree. I think the Qatar crisis is exactly the reason why Rex Tillerson was fired. It's because Rex Tillerson was pushing, we need to de-escalate this, and that's exactly the opposite of what these major powers who met on the yacht want. They want Al Jazeera shut down first and foremost, and that's something which hadn't really crystallised for me until my conversation with Iyad yesterday.
No, absolutely. I mean, what I mean is the way that I view the narrative of what we're talking about here is essentially the collusion of those powers, the collusion of them with the US, and the changing the dynamic of the Middle East to make it more profitable.
But you need, if they're able to put enough pressure and leverage, and even, I mean, I'm not suggesting that they're threatening them with anything, right? But I am suggesting that they have the president's ear, that a foreign power is able to influence American foreign policy and domestic policy to such a degree that they will sack their Secretary of State. That's a big fucking deal.
I believe that because it's not communist Russians that we're talking about here, that a lot of the American public will not put any gravitas or real care on the fact that that's happening, because as long as you can prove that it wasn't commie Russians that were doing it, because it's like...
So you honestly think that a lot of the people who voted for Donald Trump, like dyed-in-the-wool grassroots redneck motherfuckers, are going to be happy at the idea of Donald Trump getting all pally-pally with the Arabs?
I think they're more likely to be happy with it than they are the Russians.
I don't know, man.
America has this weird thing about commie lefty Russians.
They do, but commies. But they also have a big fucking... Well, I mean, actually, you're saying that, but I read a thing today. I'll need to have a look for it to get it posted up. But it was talking about how Putin actually polls massively well amongst the right wing in America, amongst Republican voters. They all view Putin in an extremely positive light.
Even though Putin's a baddie, I kind of view him in a positive light. Like I look at it like it's just like, oh, his policies are really bad. He's quite clearly a psycho dictator and stuff like that. But there's something like comedy Bond villain about him.
Well, you say that, but he murders journalists. In communist Russia, there is not another fake newscast.
The journalists murder you. No, wait a minute. That's not the point you were trying to make there, is it?
Like, if we were living in fucking Russia, we would not be doing this shit for very long.
I'd be wearing trackies.
I'd be wearing a hat, which was actually a flat cap, but I would get it photoshopped to make it look like it was some sort of fucking bear skin.
And then you would just have your entire world bleached a slight colour of red, so it looked like you were more communist.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I wouldn't like, for example, when the defence secretary was in front of the same backdrop and he was all in colour. I would make sure that it all melded into the background so that it looked all really Russian and subversive.
See, this is a bit off subject, but I was essentially talking to BBC today. They were on the phone to me about the Cambridge Analytica stuff, and then I spoke to Jerry after it. It's just like, spoke to the BBC. They're probably not going to fucking have us on because
slag them all the time.
Because I reckon at least once a day I go onto the BBC's Facebook page and just like use a fucking shower, a fucking turncoat.
We're getting way off subject.
I know, but it's just when we were talking about that stuff we do with Corbyn. Specifically, in the last couple of days, I had to go at them because they were illustrating Corbyn as a mad commie.
So, the next strand of potential corruption here comes to a report from The Intercept, which states that Jared Kushner's real estate firm sought money directly from Carter, made a direct pitch to the Carter Minister of Finance in April 2017.
He's a chip off the old block, isn't he?
Yeah. And it was just a couple of weeks before the blockade from the other Arab states. Now, given that we know from other reports in this thread that Jared Kushner and Mohammed bin Salman and also Youssef Al Otaiba, who is the UAE ambassador to the US, was in constant phone and email contact with Kushner, it's fair to say that they were very aware of the intentions of the UAE and Saudi Arabia towards Qatar. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Right. So a couple of weeks before the blockade, Jared Kushner turns up and is like, hey guys, how's it going? So we kind of know that these guys are like kind of ganging up on you and, you know, something's maybe in the offing. As it happens, my real estate firm could do with a bit of investment in the business. So what do you think? Seems a bit sus, does it not?
And the boys from Qatar were just like, nah, man, we're not really interested in that investment. And just like, well, you know, maybe something might just happen to your Al Jazeera. Like, that seems incredibly specific. Oh, it wouldn't be horrible if Al Jazeera fell down the stairs.
Wouldn't it be horrible if Qatar suddenly found itself sanctioned?
Oh, it would be horrible if something would just hack your media and put out false stories. That sounds very, very specific, Mr. Kushner. Are you threatening me? Not at all. But let's just see what happens in the next week or so. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's...
Bit dodge.
But then again, what if they had given him, like, if they had given him money, Kushner would be like, it's off, boys! It's off! Like, because as much as I think, I would take a stab in the dark and say Kushner wasn't acting on Trump's wishes there.
Maybe.
Because I don't believe that there's anything they could actually have done to stop that from happening.
So you think he was just being opportunistic?
I think, well, think about it. If I can take a pile of cash off you, it's like, I'll give you houses for it. And then it's just like, I know he's not going to be here next Tuesday.
So maybe gives you a bit of insight as to why he got his security fucking...
He shows up and says, look guys, you're going to get fucked over. If you give me some money, I'll try and stop it. And the idea was, if he gave them, I'm not saying this is the case by the way, but to me it just seems like they give him money, he doesn't have to fulfill in that deal because there's no Qatar left at the other side of this scenario, whereas the other side of this seems so unlikely, which is he's been given money and he just shows up and he's just like, right, Eric, sit down, I need to talk to you about something. This is off. Just like, fuck off, Kushner, or I'll break you. You know what I mean?
Fuck off, Jared, you prick.
Have you seen me and my friends? We all look like a line of Bond villains.
But like, you know, as Iyad kind of says in an interview, like, they're all just so eminently corruptible. They're all dodgy motherfuckers. They're all looking for a fucking shakedown and a fucking paycheck. And
there's a joke there with a shakedown.
And I mean, but even like, see the boy, the George Nader guy, right? Convicted paedophile. If you're a pedo, then it's pretty easy for somebody to blackmail you, right, or extort you.
Really easy leverage. I mean, like, ask pretty much most of the Tories for the 80s.
And Trump, you know, seems to have a bit of a predilection for fucking shagging like a motherfucker. Like absolutely definitely porn stars and allegedly hookers that we know about. Yeah. So it's not inconceivable that people could pretty easily get leverage against him as well.
Literally, there's porn stars right now in the US who have leverage against the president.
Who are taking lie detector tests to prove that they shagged him and stuff.
And I was talking to Jerry about this today, and even we were discussing it. Like, we are aware before anyone tells us. Like, we are aware that lie detector tests don't mean shit.
Yeah, I think they're inadmissible as evidence in most states. Like.
But the idea is, someone says to her, "Take a lie detector test to prove it," and she's like, "I fuck it."
She's like, yeah, I'm not lying.
I'm not lying. I know this is true. I'm happy to go ahead and do a lie detector test. And then passed it all. Because we know that this is true. I mean, we know that with the, without overly getting into it, with the whole grabber in the pussy stuff and stuff like that, do you know what I mean, that existed when he had just became, or when he was just becoming president, we know that his view on women, and like the run of wives and whatnot, and also the fact that I'm sure in some news outlet at some point he says he's banging his daughter. He did say that, didn't he? He did say that.
Yeah.
He said, like, if I was younger, I'd dick her or something.
If she wasn't my daughter, I would date her. That's exactly the words he said.
I was paraphrasing.
if I was a bit younger, I'd dick her. That doesn't make any reference to this relationship of the father-daughter thing. Just like,
I don't think it would bother
if I was
him.
still her dad, but I was a bit younger, I'd dick her.
I don't think that's not what he means.
He's a fucking creep. I've just found a fucking really interesting article for The Independent here, by the way.
We are doing fucking live news and I don't know, it's like reporting, journalist shit.
It's for the 6th of March, so it's not like fucking brand new, but they're actually saying that that the BBC had correspondence for the inbox, that Elliot Broidy guy, who is a major donor for President Trump. So,
Is that another private military contractor guy?
Yeah,
that's what he does.
The Broidy guy is the one who has the connections to Nader and who has gained access for Nader to President Trump.
But that's what I mean. But his actual role is he's another private.
He's got a private security firm,
and he also.
But he is within this period won 200 million worth of contracts, and then he has donated millions of pounds to Trump. So you could argue that is a way of funneling funds from the UAE to Trump, right?
And by argue, you can definitely see that's what happened.
Correspondence obtained by the BBC from the inbox of Elliot Broidy, a major donor of President Donald Trump with millions of dollars worth of UAE business links, shows that he met with Mr. Trump in October 2017 and told the US leader that Mr. Tillerson was, quote, performing poorly and should be fired at a politically convenient time. This is actual fucking emails that the BBC obtained that show this. He also reportedly called Mr. Tillerson, the former CEO of oil giant ExxonMobil, weak and a tower of jello that needs to be slammed. That sounds a bit sexy.
It also tells you a lot about the way he consumes his jello.
With his dick.
I'm going to dig that jello.
A blow-by-blow account of the meeting was sent to dual Lebanese-American national and convicted paedophile, I just added that bit, George Nader, who has recently been speculated to be a person of interest in Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. So, there you go, there's yet more fucking evidence of this shit.
I mean...
It's beginning to look pretty fucking concrete.
It's pretty damning. And also, the connections between Eric Prince's crowd, Trump, everyone who seems to have ever worked in a high level at Trump who's related to him, everyone in the United Arab Emirates, everyone who is possibly a businessman in Russia, everyone involved in SCL Group, Cambridge Analytica, Aggregate IQ,
and the fact that
Breitbart News,
the fact that he's been replaced, Tillerson, by a guy who is famously
anti-Iranian.
Yes.
Who's my favourite anti?
I don't know, like Your ma's alright.
But anti-Iranians are right. And also Palantir in the list of the people that I was just adding into the totally affiliated with each other.
Yeah, so there's a whole ocean of dodgy fucking lapping up onto the shores of fucking Donald Trump's kingdom right now.
Here's the thing, just a bit.
Which is a weird metaphor.
Here's the thing that annoys me greatly. See Snowden and Julian Assange.
That's not what I was expecting you to say at all.
See Snowden and Julian Assange. See if they know about any of this. You'd have thought that this is the stuff you would tell people. I mean, this is a story. Like the shit that they've brought to the table in the grand scheme of things, although it was great, is a bit fucking lacklustre in the grand scheme of things.
In fairness, like to Snowden, he
was a low-level data collector.
Yeah, and leaked all the stuff that he was aware of, you know, while he was embedded in the system. He has been outside that for a long time and is therefore not able to gain access to information. But I think
if we can gain access to information, he must be able to gain access to information.
Well, I think his tweet, if you read between the lines of
what
he's saying,
it speaks volumes.
He's saying he knows that Facebook were entirely involved in that, and probably Peter Thiel is involved in that. I mean, that's seriously read between the lines. Like, I'm embellishing that a bit, but like that's what I read into it.
I've made a point of not mentioning Thiel's name in this. Like,
fuck him. Peter Thiel. I mean, we've got no proof of any wrongdoing with Peter Thiel.
We'll joke about triads. We'll joke about Yakuza. We'll joke about KGB. We'll joke about we'll joke about CIA and MI6 and MI5. I ain't joking about Peter Thiel. Like, we've got a digital podcast, dude. Like,
yeah, well.
So anyway, yeah, I mean, but kind of off the back of all of that, like, the question that kind of where I come to with all this is there anything that really argues this point? Like, I mean, when I've been searching for it, so I try and be as sceptical as possible about the stuff that we look into, and I'm not finding anyone that's saying
probably why you've been invited to talk at the Edinburgh Skeptic Society on the 10th of May 2018 in Edinburgh.
Nice plug. That was good. That was good.
Beer 52 Cornerstone and that.
If you want to shave, use Cornerstone. If you want to drink beer, use Beer 52.
Don't get those two mixed up.
Both of them
you'll be drinking shaving foam and using beer to shave.
Both of them will deliver shit to your house. And see, to be honest, I've got a Cornerstone razor. Like, I genuinely have a Cornerstone razor.
I'm looking at him right now. He doesn't look like he's got a Cornerstone razor.
I do have
I would suggest that he hasn't used it at all. Where?
Here, and under here.
Do you have facial hair that high up your cheekbone?
My hair grows almost up to my eyes.
Fair enough.
It's like shaving a bear. Never, ever do that ever again. I have to shave under my neck down to kind of my chest so it doesn't connect to my chest, and I have to shave the bit between where my beard stops. Like, see, like there right now, I have like...
No, they can't, no.
No, I'm talking to you. I have like blonde hair.
He's pointing right on his cheekbone.
I've got blonde hairs up to there that I can feel. Like that I've came in since I shaved a couple of days ago.
Cool.
No, I'm just saying, so I do need to shave, and I do use a Cornerstone to shave. I do quite like it. It's nice and shiny and silver. It comes with like a travel head hang, pile of fucking razors, shaving shit.
My favourite thing about Cornerstone is making stupid fucking adverts.
I know, but it's really difficult to make one in this bit because there's nothing like...
No. I just thought I'd mention him because I'd mentioned the Edinburgh Skeptics, but I've totally pulled you off what you were talking about.
See, in all honesty, all I was going to get to is the fact that when I've looked for stuff, there's not been someone saying, I don't think this is the case. I think this is the case. Do you know what I mean? Like, this all wraps up in a nice little package. And from the interview that you'll listen to later, or you've just listened to, whatever way that you've done this, when we are discussing it, it's like one of the things that comes up that me and Jerry were talking about today is not looking for a linear explanation for something or a single explanation for a sequence of events. I believe there may be other factors that we're missing here, but all of this seems, if this isn't all interlinked, this is the most coincidental sequence of coincidences that have ever existed. Do you know what I mean? There's too many things like I don't believe in like chance. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, as in, I don't believe in luck. Like, do you know what I mean?
All right, I was going to say you shouldn't play Monopoly. I don't believe in community chess.
You've not been to the local, but no, I don't believe in like luck when you're doing stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't believe that all this stuff could just so happen all fit together, but has no actual, like, it makes a great story, but that's all it makes. Do you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense. There's people a lot smarter than me who are coming to the very same conclusion. So
yeah, I think the more it was one of those ones where I came across the thread on Twitter that
then you wiped your laptop screen and then you read through the thread
that he had put together, and it was like, the more I read, the more I was like, oh my god, this is like fucking. It was almost like perfectly written for us, because it had so many of the strands of shit that we had been talking about for the past year. The Trump-Russia thing, the Mueller investigation, the Middle East, the Qatar crisis. Although he didn't mention it, and I think, in fact, I brought to his attention yesterday that this is a potential fucking Cambridge Analytica fucking operation.
From what I looked into, as you've already now seen, Cambridge Analytica definitely have a
links.
Whole pile of links and affiliations to this.
So yeah, it's a developing story. It's something I think you're going to hear a lot more of in the next few weeks. I think the focus of the Russia in inverted commas investigation is going to be moving onto this, because I was listening to another podcast earlier in the week, right, and they were talking to a US attorney who was talking about the Mueller investigation, and he was essentially saying that, there's been a lot of criticism from the Republican camp of, you're just fucking, so now you were supposed to be looking at Russian collusion, but now you're looking at this, and now you're looking at this guy, now you're looking at George Nader, now you're looking at Eric Prince. What the fuck have they got to do with Russian collusion? But what the guy made a great point, Paul, which was that if you have a search warrant to go into somebody's house to obtain an illegally acquired gun, and you see a kilo of coke sitting on a kitchen table, you don't ignore it and walk out, because that's not what you went in there to look for. And that's exactly what's happening in this investigation. And that's exactly why Steve Bannon advised Trump heavily against sacking James Comey, because he was very aware of the can of worms that this could open. What you got?
Maybe nothing. I have to look into it more. But a guy who works for a company called Ant Financial, who was educated at Peking University, who previously worked at HSBC Global Banking and Markets. His name is Peng Cheng, and he lives in Hong Kong. Now, it might be a common name, it might not be a common name. I really wanted there to be an HSBC link, so I was Googling the names of the people that I didn't have any links for yet in association with HSBC. It
might be a really common name.
It might be. I hope it's not, because this would fill me with a needless amount of joy. So,
I think that kind of wraps it up in terms of the story, right? Is there anything else you've got to add to that? General housekeeping then, like we've had a whole flurry of new patrons this month, so like we want to say welcome to Bankier Boy, to Luke Patrick for their donations, and to Gav. It's great to have you on board. We also, we want to let you know that it's a confirmed date of the 10th of May for the gig with the Edinburgh Skeptics in Edinburgh. We want to thank everybody that's been in touch with us via email, via the Discord, via Facebook and via Twitter this month for a whole host of reasons. Oh, Harry Biggins as well, another new patron we got this month. We want to thank you for reaching out, for getting in touch with us, sometimes with technical notes. sometimes with praise, sometimes with a few criticisms, but always with the best intentions. And we really appreciate all you reaching out to us. We want to thank you all for some of the lovely things that some of you have said about the fact that we were the first people that you heard the Cambridge Analytica story from, and we really appreciate that. In terms of the gig at the in Edinburgh for the Edinburgh Skeptics, the presentation that we're given, it's on the 10th of May. It's at 7:30 p.m. In the Chamber Room in Banshee Labyrinth in Nidri Street in Edinburgh. It's a free entry, but Edinburgh Skeptics will ask for a donation. So if you can make it along to that, then get involved. We'll put up more details. I'm not sure if it's ticketed or if it's turn up on the night. So I will make sure that there's some information on our social media and stuff and our website and whatever in due course for that. And yeah, if anybody wants to get in touch with us again, it's info@Not Another Fake Newscast. You can find us at PGMcast on Facebook and Twitter.
You can get us on Patreon. Sorry, I just get caught up in a mad spiralling circle looking at Ant Finance and Alibaba Group Holding, because Alibaba Group Holding came up on another article that I was reading earlier on. Turns out that those two companies are connected. But anyway,
Alibaba's like a massive Chinese internet company. Right?
It's the Group Holding Limited. It's massive. But there was a big acquisition that happened with Ant Finance recently. Anyway, I was just checking to see. I'm just checking through names at the present moment. I'm still essentially doing the research.
It's not the kind of thing you do live, like as in they don't need to know about that.
I know, but what happened was, because I kind of get caught up in that, I just got into
sat in silence and let me talk.
Well, you were talking away anyway. Yeah, so you can get us on Patreon, and we really appreciate our Patreon sponsors. It keeps the lights on, as it were. It certainly helps us out doing stuff.
It covers our costs, and that's the main thing for us. Like, we're not looking to get rich out of this. We just to have our costs covered would be great, and to allow us to expand the thing and get better hardware, improve it. Maybe do more podcasts for you and stuff. One of the things I wanted to actually ask all you, and that I would really appreciate feedback from all you on, a bunch of the folks in our Discord server were chatting last week about the whole 2 episodes a month thing, and we're aiming to do a monthly roundup as well as this, which is the deep dive episode per month. It's been suggested that we do the monthly roundup as a free podcast for the next couple of months to let you see what you're getting, and then to move it into a Patreon only type scenario. So it would be at the lowest level of Patreon, so you'd have to pay $3 a month or whatever in order to get 2 podcasts from us a month. If you think that that's acceptable and reasonable and a good idea and a good way to kind of raise funds for us, then reach out and let us know. If you think it's a fucking awful idea and that we're a bunch of money grabbing cunts, then also let us know that.
Yeah, and please give us feedback. I mean, it really, I can't stress how pleasant it is for me and Jerry to get an email telling us what people like and don't like about the show. Like, any feedback at all, like it really does genuinely make my day. Like, I mean, it does genuinely.
Yeah. And it doesn't cost you anything apart from your time. Also, the thing which really improves our listenership, really improves our ratings in the charts and all that sort of stuff, is reviews on iTunes and Stitcher, etc. So we haven't had any new reviews for like the last 2 months. All of our reviews have been great, and we have a number of them, but we'd like more. So if you like this, then A, wow, you're fucking mental, and B, tell us about it, tell other people about it, make people come here and listen to this thing that we do.
So in a couple of weeks we're going to have a roundup episode, and then we will dive back in. Now, we always have episodes that are on the back burner that we start looking at and start researching, then something goes tits up and we have to then start reporting on it.
Yeah, that's one we kind of had to do, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got some stuff planned that's going to come up over the next little while. Like I said, some exciting things ahead. So yeah, it's been good. It's been fun this episode, I think.
I've enjoyed it. Yeah,
I've enjoyed it.
It's one of the
I
ones.
hope you've enjoyed it, to be honest, because you're the one that's listening to it. I've just been talking.
Doesn't really matter to you how much we've enjoyed it or not, does it? I think, there's certain episodes like the gun control thing where you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake, this is a fucking nightmare, just trawling through statistics and stuff. But this is the kind of shit that actually excites and interests me and you, I think.
Did you get that answer
live? Yeah.
Are you cool? Just check. It's just like
That's Heather from the Edinburgh Skeptics. I realised that I had spoken to her a week or so ago, and she'd said, "Let me know when you're recording, so I can tell you a bit more info about the gig." And about fucking 5 minutes ago, while I was talking, that's why when I mentioned it, and then I came back to the actual details of it, it's because Heather was a fucking absolute diamond and replied to me straight away. So thanks very much for that, Heather.
Like, I just picked up my phone and it fucking said 7:30 at the wait. This seems very coincidental, Gerard.
Yeah, so that's the crack. Well, so on that
bombshell,
on that well organised note, I'd like to say good night and peace out.
Yeah, thanks very much. Bye.